What if I told you that everything you believe brings an avoidant man closer might actually be the very thing that makes him pull away? What if the connection you're trying so hard to build is being blocked not by his lack of feelings, but by his biology, his wiring, his hidden emotional history that he rarely speaks about? Most women think intimacy, vulnerability, long conversations, and deep emotional openness will finally break through his walls. You believe if you love him harder, show him your heart, or give more of yourself, he will eventually let down his guard. But with an avoidant man, the closer you move toward him emotionally, the more his survival instincts wake up. It's not because he doesn't care. It's not because he doesn't want you. It's because closeness triggers a physical reaction inside him that feels overwhelming. His mind goes alert, his chest tightens, his body quietly prepares to defend itself, even when there is no attack. You see intimacy as safety, he experiences it as pressure. You see connection as comfort, he feels it as something he could lose control of. And yet the strangest part is this: deep inside, he still longs for love. He still wants a partner. He still craves warmth, acceptance, and connection. But he fears it at the same time, and that inner conflict creates the coldness, the distance, and the silence you keep running into. The truth is, avoidant men do not bond the way you do. They do not attach the way you attach. And if you don't understand the hidden system inside him, the one that decides when he moves toward you and when he pulls away, you will misunderstand his every action. The moment you learn how his bonding truly works, everything changes. Neurochemically, avoidant men simply do not bond through sex the way many other men do, and this is something that often surprises women. You may wonder why this happens or what it means for your connection with him. It matters deeply because most women try to bond with an avoidant man in ways that do not work for his nervous system. You open your heart. You speak honestly. You hope your softness, your openness, and the intimacy you share will finally melt his walls. But something completely different is happening inside his mind. While you are releasing oxytocin and feeling warmer, closer, and more emotionally linked with him after intimacy, his stress response is doing the opposite. It is blocking, slowing, or weakening the very same bonding chemicals that help most people feel close after sex. It is almost like the two of you are speaking completely different emotional languages without even realizing it. You may think that great sex will finally cause him to open up, trust you, or relax into closeness. But for him, sex can feel more like a short dopamine rush, something enjoyable in the moment, almost like eating his favorite food or doing something that gives quick pleasure. It feels good, yes, but it does not automatically build the deep emotional connection you are longing for. Now, this does not mean he does not care or cannot care. What it means is that his bonding system works differently. In fact, there is another hormone, one almost never talked about, that causes avoidant men to bond in a much deeper, more lasting way. And when you learn how to activate this during intimacy, everything begins to shift. Instead of him distancing himself after sex, instead of him retreating or becoming quiet, he begins to see you differently. He starts to feel like you are his teammate, his partner, someone who stands with him, someone safe, someone he wants to protect and keep close. Hi, I'm Gabriel Hart from My Daily Love, and in today's video, we're going to explore why the usual bonding process does not work as expected for avoidant men, the hormone that actually impacts their bonding, and how you can turn intimacy into a shared emotional experience that builds real connection instead of distance, not with manipulation, not with pressure, but with understanding, deep, calm, grounded understanding of how the avoidant nervous system works. Number 1. Why normal bonding often fails with avoidant men. Most women do not realize that avoidant men have a unique brain chemistry during sex. While you are feeling oxytocin flow through your system, which is the hormone that makes many people feel connected, safe, and emotionally open, his brain is doing something very different. It is blocking, muting, or dulling those same sensations. Imagine trying to hug someone warmly, fully, openly, but they are wearing a big, thick winter coat. No matter how deeply you hug, the warmth does not reach them in the same way. That is what happens with avoidant men and oxytocin. Their stress levels, which are often higher than they show, act like that coat, blocking the bonding chemical from truly sinking in. This is something avoidant men rarely say out loud, partly because many of them do not understand it themselves. When an avoidant man feels stressed, pressured, overwhelmed, or anxious, and many avoidants feel this almost constantly, his brain's protective mechanisms activate. These mechanisms block bonding chemicals, not because he does not want closeness, but because closeness feels dangerous, unpredictable, or heavy to his nervous system. So while you are experiencing intimacy as a doorway to emotional closeness, he is experiencing it as something that can trigger vulnerability, which activates his survival response rather than his bonding response. The misunderstanding here creates so much pain for couples. A woman thinks sex will bring them closer, and when he withdraws afterward, she feels hurt, confused, or rejected. But inside his mind, he is not rejecting her. He is reacting to internal wiring that tells him closeness might lead to loss of freedom, being controlled, or being emotionally trapped. This creates a cycle where she reaches closer and he pulls further away, not because he does not want her, but because the bonding pathway in his brain is different. Avoidant men often grew up in environments where emotional closeness was inconsistent, unpredictable, or even unsafe. Many had caregivers who were stressed, cold, distracted, or overwhelmed. Some learned early on that their feelings were too much for others, or that relying on anyone emotionally led to disappointment. So their adult brain formed a protective pattern. Stay independent. Stay in control. Do not get too close. This pattern becomes hardwired into their nervous system, especially during intimate moments when emotions are naturally more open and vulnerable. That is why oxytocin alone does not bond an avoidant man. He has another bonding system, one built around safety, trust, teamwork, and cooperation, rather than emotional vulnerability. And the hormone that activates this system is not oxytocin, it is vasopressin. Vasopressin is the hormone linked to protection, loyalty, responsibility, and long-term partnership. It is the hormone that makes a man feel, this person is my teammate, this person is part of my world, this is someone I want to stand beside. Avoidant men respond far more deeply to this bonding system because it does not overwhelm them with emotional openness the way oxytocin does. It anchors them in a sense of stability and shared purpose instead. When vasopressin activates, something amazing happens. Instead of pulling away after sex, he feels grounded. Instead of retreating, he feels connected in a calm, steady way. Instead of feeling the need to distance himself, he starts feeling protective, committed, and emotionally present. This is the bonding path that actually works for avoidant men. So how do you activate this during intimacy? You activate vasopressin not through emotional intensity, but through calm presence, consistency, relaxed connection, and shared experiences that feel safe rather than overwhelming. You activate it by removing pressure, letting him breathe, showing warmth without pushing for emotional responses he cannot give in the moment. You activate it by being steady instead of urgent, open instead of demanding, and patient instead of anxious. When he senses that closeness does not mean drowning, he relaxes. And when he relaxes, bonding happens more naturally and more deeply. Intimacy becomes something the two of you share, not something he needs to escape from. He begins to feel like you are a safe person in his world, someone who understands him even when he struggles to understand himself. And in that space, connection grows, not from force, but from alignment with how his heart and nervous system actually work. So all that cuddling and sweet talk after sex, it's not reaching him the way you believe it is. It feels deep to you. It feels like a moment of closeness, but to him it does not land the same way. Over the years, watching people repeat the same cycle again and again, I've noticed a very clear pattern, especially with avoidant men. Women will have great physical moments with them, nights where everything feels aligned, connected, and emotionally warm. And after that she thinks, now he'll open up to me. Now he'll want to stay close. Now he'll finally see that this is real. But instead, he backs away even faster. He becomes distant, distracted, cold, and she gets left feeling confused, hurt, and wondering what she did wrong. And the truth is, she didn't do anything wrong. She just misunderstood what was happening inside him. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. While you felt closer to him in that moment, what he experienced was mostly dopamine. That's the feel-good right now chemical. Think of dopamine like eating your favorite snack or dessert. It feels amazing in the moment. You might even smile and relax for a little while. But that feeling doesn't make you fall in love with the shop that sold it to you. You don't build an emotional connection with the bakery or the ice cream place. You just go back there the next time you get a craving. That's exactly how an avoidant man processes sex when the relationship hasn't built real emotional safety yet. He's not bonding, he's soothing himself. It's not closeness, it's comfort. And here's the part almost nobody talks about. There is a completely different hormone that makes avoidant men form deep emotional attachment, and most women don't even know it exists. It's called vasopressin, and it releases in a man's body when he feels like he and someone else are solving something together. Not just talking about feelings, not just being affectionate, not just sharing intimacy. It's the experience of facing something as a team. Vasopressin is the hormone that ties a man's loyalty to the person he experiences challenges with. To really understand why this happens, think back to ancient times, long before modern relationships, long before texting and dating and all of that. Men didn't bond by sitting around sharing emotions. They didn't connect through long talks about their worries or fears. They bonded by action. They bonded by hunting side by side, surviving harsh environments, protecting their groups, and facing danger shoulder to shoulder. When two men faced a threat and made it through alive, something deep in their biology clicked. That's when they became brothers for life. That's when trust formed. That's when loyalty locked in. They didn't need to say it. Their bodies recorded it. That same biological pattern still exists in modern avoidant men today. Avoidant men need to feel like they are achieving something with you, not simply doing something to you. That difference is huge. One creates a moment, the other creates a bond. Sex alone is a moment. Working together, solving something together, overcoming something together, that is a bond. And it changes everything about how intimacy affects them. Here's what I've learned after so many conversations, experiences, and observations. If an avoidant man only experiences dopamine with you, you become like his favorite restaurant. He'll come back when he wants the feeling again, but he's not emotionally connected to the building. He doesn't miss it. He doesn't think about it deeply. He doesn't feel responsible for it. It's just a place he enjoys sometimes. That's how many avoidant men treat women who only trigger dopamine, enjoyable moments without emotional connection. But when an avoidant man experiences vasopressin with you, you transform into something completely different. You become his teammate, his partner in something meaningful, someone he sees as part of his life story, someone he wants to keep close, someone he wants to protect, someone he wants to build with. When men describe this feeling, they talk about it totally differently than the soft, warm bond women feel with oxytocin. They say things like, "I felt like we were a team," or "I felt like she understood me," or "It felt like we handled something together." They describe movement, action, shared effort, not just closeness. And this is where things start becoming extremely practical. Many women think they need to talk more, cuddle more, share more intimacy after sex, or prove their loyalty for an avoidant man to feel closer. But none of that triggers the bonding hormone he actually connects with. He doesn't bond by hearing words. He bonds by experiencing something with you that feels like growth, challenge, or teamwork. He bonds when there is a mission, even a small one, that you both overcome or work through together. This is why avoidant men often stay connected to women they've built something with. Even if it's simple, like learning something together, planning a project together, or getting through a tough moment as a team. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to feel like partnership. This is also why some men suddenly attach emotionally after going through a difficult period with a woman, even if the relationship was shaky before. The struggle itself became the glue. The connection wasn't created by comfort, it was created by challenge. Now, here's the part that explains so many confusing behaviors. When you think you are creating intimacy after sex by cuddling and talking softly, you are coming from the oxytocin world, the world where closeness builds love. But he is living in the vasopressin world, the world where teamwork builds attachment. To him, the soft moment after sex doesn't create the deep emotional shift you expect. It feels nice, but it doesn't make him want to stay. It doesn't make him open up. It doesn't make him see a future. This is why he might be so loving in the moment and then distant the next day. It's not personal. It's biological wiring. When women misunderstand this, they often think, maybe he didn't enjoy the intimacy, or maybe he doesn't care, or maybe he's playing me. But most of the time, it's just that he processed the experience through a different chemical lens. And when he backs away afterward, it's not rejection, it's regulation. Avoidant men pull back after dopamine spikes because their emotional system feels threatened by closeness they didn't choose, didn't build, or didn't earn through shared effort. They need to bond through doing, not through feeling. If you look closely, you'll see the exact same pattern in how avoidant men connect with friends. They don't open up to people they only hang out with casually. They open up to people they've built trust with through action, teammates, work partners, people they solved problems with, friends they've gone through something with. Their emotional doors open through shared experience, not shared vulnerability. And this is why the idea of getting closer through sex is often completely misunderstood. Sex can create closeness for women because oxytocin bonds through softness, comfort, and touch. But for avoidant men, sex by itself doesn't trigger their bonding system. It only triggers dopamine unless there's something deeper happening in the relationship that activates vasopressin. And that deeper part is teamwork, not physical connection. Understanding this can save so many women from heartbreak. It stops you from making something personal that was never personal. It stops you from thinking intimacy is the key to attachment when it's not the key for him. It helps you see that if you want an avoidant man to feel connected, you have to create moments where he feels like you're facing something together, even something small. That's what shifts him emotionally. That's what makes him stay. That's what makes him feel safe, loyal, and invested. And once you understand that, everything changes. If you want to activate vasopressin in a man instead of only triggering oxytocin, You have to completely shift the way you understand physical closeness with him. Most women naturally kiss a man the way they enjoy being kissed: gentle, emotional, tender, filled with soft energy. That kind of intimacy works beautifully for women because it awakens their sense of closeness. But what most women never realize is that this exact style can create the opposite reaction in an avoidant man. Instead of bonding him to you, it can actually activate a stress response inside him, even if he appears calm on the outside. His mind starts tightening, his body feels a subtle pressure, and his nervous system gets alert rather than connected. This is why so many women feel confused when a man pulls away after intimacy. They think something is wrong with them, or that he didn't enjoy the moment, or that he's suddenly losing interest. But often, nothing is wrong at all. His brain simply processed the closeness differently. He didn't choose that reaction. It's wired into him, and the truth is, he would love to bond. He would love to feel safe. But his body responds to certain kinds of intimacy with tension, not connection. That's why specific techniques built around activating vasopressin are so effective. Vasopressin is the bonding chemical related to protection, loyalty, long-term connection, and the instinct to stay close. When a man experiences vasopressin connection with a woman, he doesn't just feel attracted, he feels committed. He feels a desire to hold on to her, protect her, and build with her. And the program called How to Kiss a Man teaches exactly how to kiss and touch in a way that stimulates this response instead of triggering his avoidance. It teaches things like how to create a feeling of teamwork in intimate moments, how to bring playfulness into the kiss, how to use timing and pressure to shift his nervous system from stress to connection, and how to mirror his emotional rhythm instead of your own. Most women don't realize how powerful this shift is. When a woman learns to kiss in a way that activates a man's vasopressin system, his entire perception of the relationship changes. Instead of withdrawing after intimacy, he starts leaning in. Instead of putting distance, he starts reaching out. Instead of seeing you as someone he might lose himself in, he sees you as someone he wants to anchor himself to. This is why some women experience men who suddenly become protective, attentive, and emotionally open after intimacy. They've activated a different bonding system, not the stress-based one. Now, when we look at the neurological side, things become even more interesting. Avoidant men often experience something called cortisol-mediated attachment disruption during intimacy. This is not just an emotional reaction or a mood shift. This is a literal brain-level pattern. Cortisol is the body's stress hormone, and for avoidant men, intimacy can activate old fears of vulnerability, closeness, and exposure. Even if he likes you deeply, even if the moment feels good, his brain can still release cortisol in ways that interrupt the bonding process. So while you feel closer after being intimate, he might feel overwhelmed without understanding why. He may not consciously think, "This is too close," but his nervous system reacts automatically. This leads to the familiar behaviors women describe. He becomes quiet, he turns inward, he avoids eye contact, he becomes oddly distant, or he seems like he suddenly has something on his mind. Sometimes he'll even say he's tired or that he needs space, or he'll go silent for a while without meaning to hurt you. Women often misinterpret this. They think he's losing feelings, or that the intimacy wasn't good, or that he's keeping secrets. But in reality, his brain is simply processing the closeness differently. When you understand the signs of cortisol attachment disruption, you stop taking his reaction personally. You start seeing that his behavior after intimacy has nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with his internal wiring. This is why turning intimacy into teamwork is so powerful. When intimacy feels like an experience you're co-creating rather than something he's responsible for performing, his nervous system stays relaxed. He doesn't feel pressure to impress you, or overwhelmed trying to make everything perfect, or fear that he's being evaluated. Instead, he feels like you're both stepping into the moment together. You're not waiting for him to guide everything. You're actively participating. You might say playful things like, "Let's try something fun," or "I want to explore with you," or "Let's see how far we can take this." Even small comments like this shift the emotional atmosphere from pressure to partnership. Men with avoidant tendencies respond to playfulness more than seriousness. They connect through adventure more than intensity. When you bring this energy into intimacy, you bypass the defense system that normally activates inside him. One of the biggest breakthroughs women experience is realizing they don't have to be perfect or quiet or overly sensual to make an avoidant man bond. They just have to be present and engaged. Avoidant men bond differently. They bond through laughter, through moments of curiosity, through shared movement, through little experiments, and through communication that keeps them grounded. A quiet, overly serious atmosphere often sends their mind into overthinking and performance anxiety. But an interactive, fun atmosphere relaxes them and opens them emotionally. Talking during intimacy is one of the most underrated bonding tools for avoidant men. Many women grew up thinking sex should be silent, or that talking makes it awkward. But for avoidant men, silence gives space for fear to grow. Silence gives space for insecurity. Silence gives room for old wounds to whisper. But when you talk, even lightly, it breaks the pattern. It keeps him in the moment with you. It reminds him he's safe, wanted, and not alone in the experience. Women who bond deeply with avoidant men understand this instinctively. They laugh with him, ask questions, comment on the moment, encourage him, and treat intimacy like a shared discovery. They aren't scared to say, "Do that again," or "I love when you do that," or "Wait, let me try something." This creates real emotional connection because it forces his mind out of survival mode and into partnership mode. The fascinating part is that once an avoidant man truly bonds with you, emotionally, mentally, physically, he becomes incredibly honest. Not just honest about his feelings, but honest about his fears, his insecurities, his past experiences, his emotional logic, his confusion, and even his mistakes. Most women think that once he bonds, the relationship becomes easy. But the truth is, this is where the real journey begins. When he's finally attached, he reveals the parts of himself he usually hides. And some of those truths can be uncomfortable. Men think differently about love than women do. They have fears they rarely admit, needs they barely understand themselves, and emotional habits formed long before you came along. When he trusts you, you see those sides clearly. You see what makes him pull back even when he loves you. You see the unspoken rules he follows in his head. You see what loyalty means to him, what commitment means to him, and what scares him even when he's in love. If I had a daughter, there are 5 truths about men I would want her to understand before she gives her heart to anyone. These truths can save years of confusion, frustration, and heartache. And they explain why good men sometimes act in ways that seem cold, detached, confusing, or inconsistent. They explain why men fall in love differently than women, why they fear losing themselves, why they hide their deeper emotions, and why they pull away right when things seem promising. If you want to know those 5 truths that can completely shift how you understand men and relationships, the video on your screen right now will explain them one by one. Some of it may be difficult to hear, but it might protect you from years of emotional pain and help you build a connection that feels safe, lasting, and truly mutual.